Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Cities Skylines. We are here in Trifles. I love that name, it's so funny. And today we're going to be working on optimizing our first little city right here. We might expand it just a little bit as well. I'm seeing some spaces where we could add a few more blocks, maybe over here. But also we've got a large demand for industrial, and this industrial area over here was a little bit small. So I think we could probably add another road around the block, around the back here. And figure something out. So something going across here. In fact, why don't we just do this together quickly, and then we can bring it across like this. And yes, it's not the most tidiest of roads or anything like that. That doesn't matter. Yeah, so we're going to focus on just finishing this up so we can move on to other things in the next episode. Start working on some of the islands and doing the pretty stuff. And I want to make something really clear. The entire city right here, it's not about looks. It's not about, you know, it being a super awesome city or anything like that. This is just to get us going, to get money in the bank, which it's done, which will allow us to build on our islands. But one thing has occurred to me is that we don't have like anywhere to expand to yet. I kind of perhaps gone in the wrong direction over here. We need to increase our population to be able to unlock all of these tiles. So where we go to next, I'm not sure, but the first island I want to work on is this one over here. So we can start working on that if we buy this tile, which costs 9 grand, and now we need to get to the next landmark to buy the next bit. So I think our first set of islands we're going to work on will probably be these ones over here, although now I'm starting to wonder how far out is this thing going to extend. You can do a 9x9 grid by default and then another grid around it, and I'm not sure we're actually going to have access to all of this over here. So maybe we end up going with this island and that island, and actually there's not quite as many islands as I thought there was. I might look into just unlocking all of the tiles. So let me know what you think. I would have no problem with that. You know, we do want a challenge, but if we have access to the entire map, then you know things will be fine. I feel like. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Probably I'll make a decision. Probably next episode, all of the tiles will be unlocked. But anyway, let's focus on our little area down here. So there's things that I want to do. We want to upgrade the sewage. Some of you pointed this out. We've now unlocked the next level. I just want to check that though, that we have actually unlocked it. We haven't. The water treatment plant. Okay. So I thought that perhaps some of you were getting confused about this. So we need to get to 13,000. So we do need to expand the city. I got a few comments about not using the crematorium. You see, the thing is, the crematorium is locked, right? We need 13,000 before we can have that. What we have access to is DP's crematorium because it's an additional file. It doesn't, you know, act like the normal one, and you have to unlock it. So that's the reason that we haven't used any of those yet. And I guess if we expand the city, then we've got to buy more services, and then we'll probably want to expand it again. So we might actually be doing this for a while now. So let's make all of this over here industrial. Let's just put that little bit right there as well. And then we need to pipe this thing. That's the one thing I always forget to do, is the pipes. So let's bring that around now while I remember. And there we go, it's connected. Awesome. So if we have a look at the other areas, you can see there's places that we haven't really zoned without really the best of reason. This space down here, I just sort of left it so there was a nice big space for the motorway, but let's not get sentimental here. We're trying to create a city that's going to make us a lot of income. So we're going to go and put down all of these areas as residential for the housing so they can expand. Actually, let's make that one commercial just because it's closer to the industrial area. In fact, we can make all of this commercial as well, so why don't we? Same over here. Maybe even make a little bit of this industrial. Why not? What we're trying to do is expand, I guess. And we can make all of this back area along here. Again, we're going to go for high density this time though, so we'll go like that. And then over on this road, I think what I'd like to do is expand it a little bit. And we can see the buses in action. They're doing pretty good. So let's just give this an extra block that goes all the way along like this. No need to connect it through the middle. We will do that with paths. Let's grab the path tool. And there we go. So now we can zone out all of that as well. And what we're going to focus on is optimization as well a little bit. So let's make all of this around the outside low density. So now we've got quite a big expansion just out of that alone. And we're probably going to end up needing some more industrial. Although now the demand is apparently for commercial. So let's pay attention to that as we expand over here. Perhaps we'll put a few shops there. And a couple of shops over here. And then we'll leave that how it is. We can also squeeze more industrial in around here, but I don't want to do that just yet. So we got a little bit of a traffic problem. We haven't actually taken a proper look at traffic in this area yet. So you can see it considers some of these roads to be quite busy. This one here, I'd probably say it's just that you've got buses stopping on it all the time, which is why it looks that way. So these little connections are doing okay. Again, they just appear red because they're being used so much. And so I don't really see any issues, except this road right here is starting to get a little bit clustered. But there's no backups, which is fine. And then over here, we've definitely got a problem. There's quite a lot of traffic going through there. Same for this road over here. We've got lots of buses stopping on these roads as well. So what I've been thinking might help is if we put in an off-ramp over here. So if we put one that goes into this part of the city, then it distributes it from a different place. And we've got a connection down here. We might want to add a connection to this road as well. Let's do it and see how it plays out. And we might make... Oh, actually, that's a bad turn to have off of the road. I want it to be a little bit smoother, something like that. Maybe even down here. Yeah, we might need to use the old curve tool on this one. No, it doesn't like that. You see, the sharper the turn is, they're going to slow down. It's going to affect traffic. So that looks pretty good, actually. Let's try that and see how that goes. And I think a road over here would help as well. We've also got some useless power lines. So we're going to put this road through some roads that aren't necessarily too valuable, I guess. Okay. Right, and then let's demolish those lines, and then let's zone all of that industrial. And there we go. I think we've done the most of what we can do for now. The rest of it looks pretty good, doesn't it? This area here is starting to look maybe a little bit clustered. We've also got loads of our trucks coming out the middle of this, so hopefully this expansion doesn't give it too much of an issue. So the demand is still for commercial. We've still got a tiny bit of zoning to do. None of this being used yet. That's interesting. Let's go and zone these bits up with commercial, and same on this side over here, like so, and maybe the middle bits as well, considering we've got such a high demand for it. And that's going to generate a little bit of traffic as goods get delivered. So yeah, there we go. We have kind of expanded a little bit, and now I think what I'm going to do is sit back and watch, see how far our population goes up. We've got a fair bit of area over here for people to expand into, and then after that's done, we're going to look at adjusting our policies and figuring out all the things we can do to make the city more efficient. Speaking of efficiency, this thing right here costs the same as that, and this thing pumps twice the amount of water, so it's kind of a no-brainer. It's also cheaper to build, and I think the place to pump it from would be over here, so we don't get all of that dirty water. And look at that, it's in the industrial area, so we can connect it up. Nice. So at the moment I've been thinking that although this city's kind of done, we could probably do with it expanding a little bit more. Still a lot of demand for industrial, which creates a lot of traffic. So I was thinking, hey, we unlocked the offices. Why don't we take advantage of those, you know? I never thought this city was going to be so big, but look at our income. We're up to 15,000, so we're steadily approaching where we need it to be, and I think this is going to work out. But I built an extra road across the back here, and I think what we'll do is make this full of offices, and there's no reason for us to not do that right now, with the exception of water, which is something they don't have yet. Let's quickly drag that over here. And let's just go... Oh, yeah, this area over here needs water. Glad I spotted that. I also added these extra roads in the middle here. Can you see them? They come out like T-junctions, and let's give them a pipe as well. And that's just another place that we can expand. And let's connect it on that end. There we go. Good stuff. So, plenty of rooms to expand to. We could also perhaps make those offices. I can't remember if you should put offices right next to residential. I'm pretty sure we did that in the last city. Yeah, we did that quite a lot, and it worked out just fine. So all of this over here shouldn't generate a lot of traffic, and it'll be jobs next to where people are living, so we're not going to drag traffic through the city. We're going to have it go back and forth between these two areas, which I think will work out pretty good. So it looks like the demand will be met. You can see people are moving in. That's good to see. Awesome. Okay. And we'll probably expand all of this residential, but for now I will let the time go by. Oh, by the way, when we put in that water, it means we could have taken out one of these. So just one. There we go. Now we've got the equivalent of having 5 of these, because that does twice as much. And we can add another one over there as well, but that is a little bit more efficient, I guess. Here they are, the custom assets. Yes, this looks quite out of place, but what a fancy looking building. This is one of the ones that I downloaded from the workshop. and it looks ever so nice. It does kind of stick out a little bit. It's not too much, and I like how it's in the office district down. Well, that's the only place it's going to be, and we got another one right next to it. Now it looks kind of cool. We got the Twin Towers right here. That's awesome. I do like that. Anyway, steadily expanding over here. Tons of demand for commercial at the moment, so I put a high density block just over here. And I think I might look for a few other places to squeeze in some high density as well. So we might see another road pop up along the back here. I don't know at this point. Maybe we'll find a few bits and bobs. Back here we can actually ring some of these roads around a little bit more. So maybe that's where we'll go and expand next, just into this area back here. Because we do need to expand more. And we also need some more residential. So what we're going to do with these bits is put in some high density stuff. Because we are kind of running out of space. I don't want this city to spread out everywhere. It's designed to be one sort of contained thing. So we're just going to make the entire area here high density. And at the moment I haven't put in any new buildings like fire stations or police stations. What we'll do is adjust the budget and try and cover all of the areas that way. But at the moment it feels like everything is just fine. We're saving this space right here for some more services. But really no problems. For example, we've got some uneducated workers over in these areas that are further away from the schools, and it's not really a problem because they can go and work in the factories, and also we've got some offices for the better educated people as well. So at the moment the city is in its own sort of balance. It's not the most perfect city, but that seems to do okay for it because it's making lots of money. So I also added some more bus lines. We now have a ring road going around this one, and then we have a road that goes all the way down here and into the industrial area. The idea just to bring some people from this area up here to where they need some more workers. So hopefully that helps. And we're probably going to need a couple more bus lines as well, but at the moment I'm just not too sure where they should go because they kind of overlap, which is something I read was a good idea. You know, you can get off of this one here. Let's say you're coming from up here, you go down, you get off here, and then you can go across and get onto this one. So maybe we need one. Actually, we already do have some lines that bridge these two areas, so I'm not really sure where we need more bus lines. But for now, everything is looking pretty good. So I'm about to put an incinerator plant down right here, and then I noticed where the water pump is. I just removed the landfill, by the way. That wasn't being used. So if we relocate that park, we put it over there. But that's a little bit worrying. I think I've said it before. I'm not sure if that sort of pollution goes into the water, if it just affects the ground. But either way, we do not want to risk it. So paths and traffic, we've already learnt these are good, but now I'm going to go around and put in little paths where I can. I've modified this over here. We've got a path that goes back onto this street right here, so they're kind of connected, but also little paths between the two underneath here. I imagine they're not going to get used too much, but now I'm starting to think, hey, where else do these paths need to go? So maybe one can go over here, and you can actually put them under this bridge as well, which is pretty cool, even though it's quite low. So can we actually send that over like that? Not quite. Let's make one connection, then a second, like so. And hopefully people will be using that. But yes, I'm going to go around and just do all of these small things, because they help in the long run, you know. Less traffic is a good thing for the industries, and for commuters as well. Uh-oh, something crazy just happened. We got dead bodies in our city, yes. We don't have a single crematorium, I do believe. So it's about time we put one of those in. Now this has a positive effect on the area, which is interesting. And it's actually already showing us, no, apparently we do have something. Oh, it looks like I built a crematorium, didn't I? Did I just say that, or did I say cemetery? Yes, even though we hadn't unlocked it. Okay, apparently I've broken my own rules there. We were going to try and play to the game's thing, but you know what, we'll just let it be. So the death is over in this side of the city. Let's put one down there. That should accommodate for this area. I'm hoping it will stretch out and hit up this area over here. So our first little bit of crisis in this area, but things are doing alright. I'm just planning out an expansion over here. Been going around putting those paths in as well, and what I'm seeing is that we have like worker shortages, so we kind of created too much industry for what we have. But I think the real issue is these offices that we created, because we took the jobs away from there and replaced them with the offices. So now we need to expand a little bit, although I might shrink the size of these and replace them with some commercial, because what we could effectively do is just have everyone educated and go work in the offices, which is an interesting concept, but one we're not going to fully do. So I'm probably going to unzone some of these areas, swap them around a bit. But again, it's the kind of stuff you've already seen, so I will just crack on with it and I'll keep you up to date. And it looks like all of those death problems are starting to disappear now. We've got a few left over here, but for the most part it's looking pretty good. Okay, we did it. We made to the big city, and we broke our own rules with the crematorium here, but now we've got access to it, and the water treatment plant, so I will switch over to that. We can also buy a new tile as well. And let's buy this one. Oh, we can get that one, so we can get most of that island. I kind of want these two at the moment. I was looking at this little area and thinking that looks nice and isolated. And that one over there as well. I think we might have to try the 81 tiles mod. I'm going to look into that. It apparently can get a little bit buggy, but I'm guessing maybe that's when you build all over the place, whereas I just want to build in small sections and connect them together. But anyway, let's purchase that. By the way, we hit 1 million. Isn't that amazing? And let's go back into the city because I've downsized some of the industrial here. You can see our co-worker demands are slowly disappearing. Still some over the back area here. So maybe a little bit more shrinking to go. But at the moment, I'm giving it some time. And there was something else here I wanted to show you as well. And that was the budget. We were on 11% on all of these, but we're not on these ones over here. We're at 15,000 income. We bring these ones up to 11. We'll get a little bit, tiny amount from that one, a little bit from the offices, and a fair bit from the high density stuff right here. So we can watch that jump up, but now what we're going to do is rezone these areas. So with a large commercial demand, we'll put them in these bits between the industrial areas. We'll put in a few offices as well and some residential around the back here. Man, the city is booming right now. We are almost at 20k income, which is awesome. And there is some serious traffic, but it moves. It really does. So the expansion over here now has some new bus routes. Oh, and we reached the Grand City. And that's awesome. Is that the last one to get to? Oh no, there's Capital City. And then that's it. Okay, awesome. So we got that one. That's good timing, I guess. We've got a couple of new bus routes to ring roads over here. We've expanded into this new area. And you can see from our demands that I can kind of pick anything to put in these areas. We could put in more offices or perhaps more commercial or residential. But I think I'd like to get the numbers of citizens up at the moment. So we'll just make this stuff low density residential. So there you go, we've got the offices around the outside. I've also put in some high density commercial as barriers between the areas, and you can see we've kind of shifted down here a little bit because this is a new block of residential. But that's it, we kind of maxed out our options here. We could expand a little bit further, but that's about as much as we need. Almost at 20,000 income, almost at 2 million. We're kind of ready to go on in the next episode. So what I think we need to do now is tweak our budget. We could go for 12% on all of these, but I think I'm just going to leave that at 11 for now. So let's go and check our city vitals. You can see electricity just in the balance. Same for water, sewage, and incineration is a little bit higher, which is really good that they're so close to that yellow zone because that means it's quite optimal. Crematorium is definitely over the top, and what we're going to do is just turn down the healthcare budget by about like 10%. There we go, 11% in total. And if we actually open up this, we'll be able to see our coverage. So it's not very good, but the citizens, you know, they're in the city, they're paying taxes, they're not moving out. So if we lower the budget on certain things, we'll increase our income a little bit here. So fire is another one. Our fire coverage is pretty poor. And what you're probably thinking is we should add an extra station, and I would agree. However, you know, buildings catch on fire, they disappear, they come back again, and it never seems like too much of a consequence. So we're going to leave that how it is, and we're going to experiment here. This is a bit more of an iffy decision, but we will lower the budget by 10% on that one as well. Police coverage, we have pretty much no crime in the city, like 6%. We've only got 2 stations. Considering how low it is, we'll probably be wise to just leave that one how it is. It's already small. The one I'm most interested in is actually the parks down here. So if we go and have a look at our parks, you can see that our leisure across the city is pretty well distributed, maybe too much so. Obviously that affects land value as well. So if we bring this up, I don't know if we'll see an immediate change, but we're going to drop this down to about 80% right there and save us a fair bit of money. And it feels like I keep dropping the budget here and our income just isn't tipping over 2,000. We can also turn the budget for the buses all the way down, it seems. I think is what we did before. So at the moment we're at 1,400, pretty much just under 10% there of the city. But we'll slash that part of the budget and see what happens. And then for these other ones, I don't really think we could probably trim a little bit off of this since we've got an overage on the incinerators. So let's turn that down by like 5%. And then what about education? We haven't really looked too much at that, what's going on in the city. Obviously not everyone is reached, but we do have unskilled workers. Although if we were to add more schools, we could turn down the budget for policing because the two are obviously linked, education and crime. And we just got one high school, but it's enough to sort out those offices. So feels like we don't need to change too much there. And again, what we're going to do is just reduce it by, let's say, 10% and save some money there. So all of that budget tweaking hasn't really done too much for our income. It's sat around the same amount. It feels like we turn it down and this doesn't go up. But we are playing on the slowest speed, so let's give it a little bit of time to kick in. It's now, there we go, 19,000. Okay, now it's starting to come in. And we got a few more people moving in down here, so steadily that is going to increase. But I think that's about all the budget tweaking we can do. And we have built a very well balanced city over here. Obviously not the most optimal for everything, but it does a great job of getting us a nice solid income. So now what I think we want to look at doing is creating a district and then giving this thing some policies. So let me zone this thing out. And I'm not sure what ones we're going to do, but I think we're definitely going to go for the small and big business enthusiast. Look at this, we got a bubble over here that I've not seen before. I thought, what's that? That's probably related to the budget slashing. And yes, too few services, now land value starting to appear. Let's slow down the game. So I think we'll probably just leave the buses alone. Let's turn that up a little bit, and let's just turn up these ones that are below 90 up to about 95, and hopefully that will make the difference. But I did not expect it to drop so much. Let's just put these, that one can go up to 90. Slight adjustments here. I'll keep my eye on it and see if that makes a difference. Well, I don't believe it. You know what happens sometimes? Power cuts happen. I had a power cut, and when I came back onto the computer, this is where we last left off. So everything we've done in today's episode has been lost. And I guess I'll have to redo it all and try and find some extra time to do that. It really sucks. I guess I can kind of remember everything that we did. A fair bit of expansion, some new bus lines and paths to place in and rezoning. But I guess I can probably do it all again. Just kind of sucks because we were almost there. I was just going to tweak a few more things and we're going to put in some policies, and then that was the episode. So I guess by the time you're watching the next episode, hopefully everything will be restored to where we were and we can get our progress back on track. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to play all the way back from here. And yeah, that's not so exciting, is it? But anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. As always, if you enjoyed it, please do leave a like. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching this video. I have a second channel where you can find additional videos of my Twitch live streams. If you're interested in watching one of my live streams, then come over to Twitch and hit that follow button to be notified of when I go live. And if you're not subscribed over here on YouTube, then feel free to subscribe for more content like this. I also have a creative plot world server, play.xisumavoid.com, where you can build on your own plot and join in the fun with our wonderful community. And if you like social media, then you can interact with me on Twitter at xisumavoid.com. Links to all the relevant things can be found in the description box below.